Hey there, my name is ZW Buckley, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. What you're hearing beneath my voice right now is my usual intro music. I would describe it as very PBS documentary core. Let me turn it up so that you can hear it. But let me try that again with a different sound underneath my voice. Hey there. My name is ZW Buckley, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In whatever alternate universe that is, it is very clear from that sound that whatever my YouTube channel is, it is a bad thing. But it also sounds kind of epic too. It's a good sound, and guess what? That is exactly what I'm going to teach you to make today. This type of sound is called a braam, and Wavetable is so good at making them. So here's how the rest of this video is going to go. First, I'm going to show you the basic formula for making this type of sound with Wavetable. Then I'm going to show you the effects to add that push the sound over the top. And then we're going to wrap up by talking about ways that you can take this sound as a formula and customize it for your own music. Let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so I've got an instance of Wavetable here, and it is just our default patch. So the very first thing I'm going to do is hit this little arrow to expand the device to its full range. And I'm going to set both oscillators to sawtooth waves. I'm going to make sure to engage oscillator 2. I'm also going to turn on the sub oscillator, leave it set to 1 octave, and the tone all the way up to 100%. And now that sounds like this. This gives us a ton of frequency content to work with, but there is too much top end. A big part of what makes this sound so huge is the emphasis on low end. So I'm just going to grab the filter and I'm going to set it to 1000 hertz. That's much better. Now, another factor of the epicness of this sound is a sense of space as well. So let's go ahead and set our second oscillator to detune by 10 cents. And then we're also going to activate unison, and we're going to choose the noise mode. Now we're creating some distinction between the left and the right channel with all of that detuning, and it's making the sound start to seem larger as a result. Also, this is pretty much your basic respace at this point, and also completely unrelated. When I'm at this point, it always starts to remind me of the bass from the original PlayStation startup sound. It makes me want to go fire up Final Fantasy VIII or something like that. I just can't unhear it. Now, the final detail that we need to add on Wavetable itself to make this sound a braam and not just simply a respace is that pitch bend. To do that, we're going to go over to the matrix and we're going to route pitch to be controlled by envelope 2. And this is in semitones, so I'm going to set it to 12, which means that the envelope is working within a range of an octave. Now, over on envelope 2, we're going to set the attack to 450 milliseconds, the decay to 1500 milliseconds, and we'll set the sustain to 90. We'll also go over to the slope tab here, and we're going to set the attack slope to 50 and the decay slope to -100. So the sound then is going to sweep up an octave, hang out there for a moment, and then settle just a half step below. To stop that little tail at the end, we're going to go to the amp envelope and set the release to 50 milliseconds. And while we're here, we're going to crank the sustain up as well. Since the release on this amp envelope is now shorter than the release on envelope 2, we won't hear that pitch sweep coming back down to the original pitch. Now let's go ahead and add the effects that are really going to make this thing open up. So the first effect that I'm going to add is OTT, and I'm going to set the wet dry to 60%. This will boost the level of everything, but we're still going to keep some of that body. Then let's grab an instance of roar, and the very first thing I'm going to do is turn the output down to -18. We're going to use multiband mode, so make sure you have it set to that if it doesn't load up like that in default. And for my low band, I'm going to set it to shards, and I'm going to crank the amount to 100%. Then in my mid band, I'm going to select Bit Crush as my shaper, crank the amount to 100%. And then for our high band, I'm going to select fractal, and as you might have guessed, I'm going to crank the amount to 100%. There's a reason why we turned this output down. Now let's listen to each band on its own so we can understand the role that it's playing in the creation of the sound. So we've got here first then our low band, our mid band, and our high band. And turning them back on all together. Let's go down an octave. Yeah. Now we've added on back a bit too much high end, so I'm going to grab trusty old auto filter and just bring the frequency down to 7,000 hertz. And then finally, let's add my favorite reverb plugin, Hybrid Reverb. We're going to set it to just the algorithmic side over here, and we're going to choose Shimmer as our algorithm. We'll set the pre-delay time to 150 milliseconds, and then we're going to set the decay time to 8 seconds or 8,000 milliseconds. We'll also increase the size to 65% and make sure the pitch is 12 semitones or an octave up, exactly like it is. Okay, so that's way too much, but the settings are good. We need to EQ this reverb. So let's hop over to the EQ tab. This first band, we're going to bring up the high pass to 120 hertz, and we're going to increase the slope to 18 decibels. The second band, we're going to notch out 3 decibels at 500 hertz. The third band, we're going to just notch out a single decibel at 1,000 hertz. And then for our high end here, we are going to notch out 6 decibels at 2,500 hertz. Now the reverb is making the sound feel huge, but without overwhelming it. Okay, let's talk about ways that you can use this as a template and make it your own. The easiest place to start with is your oscillator choice. So for my first oscillator, under basic shapes, I'm going to select quad saw. I'm going to set the oscillator position to 50%, and then back on the matrix for Wavetable, I'm going to select oscillator 1 position and have it be controlled by envelope 3 by 50%. Looking at envelope 3, let's set the attack to 1,250 milliseconds so that it reaches its apex while we're still in this decay phase of envelope 2. We'll also increase the sustain to 100%. Then in the slope tab for envelope 3, we're going to set the attack slope to 80%. And now it's going to sound like we've added this intense feedback onto the sound. Another easy way to customize your Bram is to play with roar as well. For example, let's go to the high band here, and I'm going to switch it from fractal to full wave rectifier. It's a much rounder sound with less bite, but more body. Finally, you can also play with all the filters that you have going on at any stage of this sound. I'm going to focus on our final auto filter for this example. So I'm going to set the resonance to 5%. I'm going to set the envelope to 50% and increase the attack entirely to 100 milliseconds. Since this is going to cause the filter to open up even further, I'm going to drop our frequency to 3,500. We can add a little bit more movement here. So I'm going to increase our LFO amount to just 5%. I'm going to change the waveform to wander, and then I'm going to increase the phase to 90. So now the left and right channels will be subtly altering their filter cutoff position independently of one another. There's so many ways that you can customize the sound and make it your own. That's just the options we covered, but there are so many parameters still available to tweak. And we didn't even touch any of the LFOs. So think about this as a starting point for making your own Brams or just big, epic, cinematic synth leads. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. I'm working really hard to try to grow this channel to 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2026, and it's your support entirely that makes it possible. As always, till next time.